Long 7-game series. Do you expect one of maybe the middle or the later games to be the explosive one? Oh no, from game one, they were ready to go. And now it is their first game. Yeah, true, all of them. For these two teams, TSM going to be on the blue side here for the first one. It is Tribe over on the red, and Twisted Fate is getting out of there, and Fiora is continuing to hit the ban table time and time again today.
Still no Fiora plays. Eventually it'll happen, Pastry. Eventually we'll get to see the Queen Duelist, but not today. At least not so far today. Ziggs joining the ban table as well, really attacking the mages, potentially just in that mid lane. Of course, Ziggs can flex down bottom.
Yep, seen that a few times today. Actually, I think Wind has piloted that one twice in the bot lane, if memory serves. Nunu getting on out of there. Interesting to see the Ziggs bang, as we did hear from Riku on the desk. Definitely something that TSM and Mike make very good use of in their kind of side lane wave management CG style. Senna continuing to get bans here. Hasn't gotten through very many times. Has won most of the time she has, and Camille, of course, kind of completing the set of champions that no one ever lets through on red side. Yeah,
there's still that Riven, so you pick your poison in that regard. Perhaps that will be one of the first picks here. For TSM, Riven available, Lee Sin available, Renekton available, Galio as well, but looks like they're going to go with the jungle option for Tedis. It will be the Lee Sin, very exciting and flashy champion that we just got to see piloted very well in that last series.
All right, well, we'll see what Tribe want to answer with here. Definitely feels like an interesting mix of bans here. I feel like it's like half like standard, almost standard bans at this point, or bans we've seen a lot of, and a lot of some targeted ones there as well. So Renekton is the first choice there out of Tribe, and Lucian actually, old school, going to take his marksman nice and early. Could be maybe moved around, but I feel like it's mostly in that Dragon lane.
Yeah, I would imagine so, especially with their Renekton locked in. It's not going to go up to that Baron lane. You imagine that Chuck is going to get his old reliable bruiser up there. Very powerful champion. You get very potent team fights as well with your point-click stun. Speaking of point-click stun, Pastry time, we get our first Pantheon of the day. Usually we end up seeing this champion piloted in the jungle, but seeing as Lee Sin is already locked in, I can't imagine that that will be the case.
Oh, and Kaiser here as well. This is getting spicy on the TSM side. I like what's happening here. But again, if you're a team that is known for your want to be in side lanes, Pantheon feels like it fits the bill pretty nicely.
I really like this option. You have so much agency in that early game, and as you said, you can go to other lanes with that Grand Starfall as well. It just feels like TSM are heavily attacking that early game with Kaisa as well, trying to break apart that lane. Now Tribe responding with Braum, trying to get some defensive walls, quite literally, between those champions and the backline.
Bye here as well for T-Tigers. As Rakan going to be the pick there alongside Kaisa. Definitely a lot of go here on the TSM side. Not going to be short on ways to start engagements. So I'm expecting a lot of action here when the champions do meet. Again, it's so funny that this is the fastest team versus slowest team for average game time, because when I think of Tribe, I do not immediately think fast-paced games. And as you said, that definitely speaks to regional dominance, so it's very cool to see how these teams will maybe buck those regional trends now here on the international stage.
Yeah, certainly could be interesting.
Oh, Tank Corky's back.
Corky is right. Oh, please. Tank Corky. If you watched the TSM Brazilian finals that they did win, you may be familiar with the Tank Corky. You may not be familiar with Akshan. That is going to be another unique champion on the day that's going to be the mid lane option for starting. A player who we usually end up seeing most of his success on Assassins, going to the marksman style.
Akshan not an assassin?
Well, I mean, sort of. He's more ranged than Assassin, I suppose. For starting, we're usually seeing things like the Diana and Akali. So this is a little bit different.
All right, well, definitely a fun way to kick things off here. Looks like Corky going to be the other marksman in the mid lane, I suppose. That's likely Mike's champion, Pantheon top as a result. And champions should kind of go into their obvious spaces here as clock winds down. Coach gives their final thoughts to the team, and they're going to gear up here for game number 1.
best of 3 earlier today in this one. Between expected top teams, these ones, if we're going off of expectations alone, potentially fighting for that 3rd spot if all things go to plan based on predictions.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, you know, pre-tournament power rankings, these teams may definitely be battling for some of those spots. So very important to win this series as it turns out. So we'll see if that holds true, if they can hold on here and at least take the first one. Feels good to start off with a win when you're in international tournament. I don't know if Sunny is just like chilling.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but now that you mentioned it, he does come to lane without a star. Pantheon, very strong in his own right, maybe not necessarily needing one. The only component that costs more than the 500 is a Sheen, so maybe that's what he's looking for. Maybe he's trying to get a very, very early Sheen. He's going to need 900 gold to do that.
Chuck trying to punish here. Oh, goodness, that's so much damage already at the flash.
Yeah.
Eats the honey fruit.
First item's pretty important. So a little bit of an unfortunate oopsie for TSM. So
oh, bottom side, my goodness, Tribe is sending it all the way to the bottom side. It's Old School with a 2v2 kill for first blood. Make it second maybe as the exhaust is going to slow down Patroni. Gets away for now, though.
Carlito was so close to picking up those honey fruit, but just a little too far away. First blood in reach of Tribe. Old School picks that one up as the Lucian, and it's completely isolated apart from the jungle as well. T-Tiger's on this top side of the map, looking for something. He does not know that he's spotted by Tedis.
Now knows, and it's going to be too late, but flashes out of there. Quick little moves there. Is now they're going back to starting. Grappling hooks around. Carlito could be the target, but it's Chuck that finds the stun. Braum now going to join the party. Door is up, and Chuck is looking for the kill. He gets himself ignited. Carlito going to try and chase him down, but that's just a support. It's starting. Ripping into Mike as T-Tigers finally nabs the kill, and Tribe just everywhere finally going to take their second of the game in 2 minutes.
TSM cannot walk into their own jungle, let alone the river. It is Tribes to conquer, and they're bringing their support up as well. Look at Old School, just completely isolated in this lane, still getting the push off on this Lucian. Seeing this fight started right back up, is starting, swinging right into action, and you can see all of the members of Tribe collapsing early. Maybe this is why their average game time is so fast.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely looking like they want to keep that trend here at the Horizon Cup. Off to a blisteringly fast start here. It is Old School with that first blood. It is T-Tigers that nabs a second. He's got a Phage and a Sheen ready to party in the river again.
Absolutely, man. This is looking like that Trinity Force build for Vi. No tank things happening here. Only damage. All gas, no brakes on T-Tigers. And this is well before the first dragon has spawned, I might add. This is a lot of fighting that we're seeing right off the bat. Not every game, not every region at all has happened like this, even in the slightest. But Tribe TSM are starting things off quick.
Yeah, and T-Tiger's gonna keep it a kill a minute. Perhaps there's the dunk. Level 5 already. That looked too easy, to be perfectly honest.
Salt and Battery, very effective at taking down a single target, especially with all this extra burst provided by Old School and Max Green. Looks like Old School might actually be able to fully purchase an entire item once he finishes this wave, which is a huge, huge benefit for especially a marksman when it comes to these neutral objectives, because once you get that first one, you start landing all these critical strikes, get sudden extra burst, albeit it is a bit random, but it just all the extra consistency that you do get from it if you're getting all of these auto attacks off, it's going to mean a lot. And let's see. Yep, there is.
Wow. That is a very quick eye edge here. As Old School, you know, doesn't care about rolling the dice, doesn't care about the RNG, just bigger sword, bigger numbers. That's all that matters here.
Ooh, both marksmen as well, starting with a Bork. Yeah, this is not going to be easy for TSM to actually punish at all. We'll see if Tribe can pick up both neutral objectives at the same time. They're starting with the one that's easier to kill.
Yep, makes sense. I think if you are going to try and take both, you should start here. So I like that Tribe are staying grouped here. TSM, though, never one to shy away from a fight, especially with this kind of comp. Max with a massive Brawl multi, though, and Sunny almost dead to rights just from the culling. And Tribe just trying to hunt down a kill. Do finally grab one, as T just has to try and move away. And Tribe gonna keep clearing out the vision. There's the ulti out of starting. Gonna get some damage down. Blocked there by Patroni, but still that's a bit of poke, and the Rift Herald is still the prize they're trying to take away. Max Green running interference. Oh, does get kicked away. Gonna be a trade at least, maybe one more here for TSM. There's Pantheon coming back through. starting to get stunned up in the front line as Petroni trying to finish one off, but starting just zipping away, rolls to safety, gets away from the incoming lead stip, but not the spear, as that's a very nice snipe out of Pantheon.
Nice re-engage there from Sunny, getting back into the river, swinging into action, and spearing in action as well as starting does go down. And the Rift Herald was picked up by T-Tigers. They still have an opportunity to go for that Drake, but trading these kills is not quite that clean early game that we saw from before.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad here. Lovely ulti out of Max Green, but just couldn't get new kills, and TSM are like, yeah, we'll keep chasing you. Confident in their ability to fight here, and Max Green, I mean, I think trying to start this Herald and bait them in is a little aggressive.
I really like that Sunny was able to get that recall off and then re-enter to this team fight, effectively fighting the entire team twice. And that's one of the most powerful things that you can do on this Pantheon now. Looking back on live, you can see TSM trying to get some pressure around the bottom side of the map, moving over to this Dragon. They feel more confident in themselves after that last team fight, although they are still at quite a major deficit, specifically in the mid lane, as Mikey has not gotten a base off yet.
Yeah, got a lot of unspent gold, you have to think. I mean, the gold numbers are very close between those two, but the items are very much not. So Mike maybe just hasn't had the spare time, given the pace of the game. He's going to be the first Dragon over, indeed it will be. It's T-Tigers that nabs it. As Max Green again going through by Duncan on in. That's a good maybe move there. It's going to be a killing spree now out of the Lucian. Does grab a double kill, those old schools just ripping him to pieces. It just looks so easy here as there's Kai'Sa moving through, but that's not enough. Is that the Quadra? Indeed it is! Old School gets them all!
Quadra kill alongside an ace for Tribe, exploding their entire lead, as that's going to be another Rift Herald pop as we get into this new Axe Effect replay. Right off of the bat right here, engage from T-Tigers is super, super clean. I like the attempt at a re-engage from Carlito, punishing that you know exactly where the enemy team is, but Kai'Sa's not quite there yet. Your team's already been beat up. Old School ends up with this Quadra kill. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, my brain melted, much like TSM. In that team fight, there was just a lot of damage here from Old School. He's continuing to demonstrate. Sunny staying healthy. Putting up that little temporary shield here. Leeson trying to make it happen. Tiger's not the target you want. Already has the Triforce finish. In goes Max Green. Decent engage there out of the Rakan. But Old School now not taking enough damage to go down. Mike trying to roam on in and make it happen. And starting looks to turn it back around. But that is Brazen swinging into two. It does get away.
Feeling confident right there with the comeuppance swinging right on in. But no kills to be had. You don't deal as much damage as it seems like starting would like to with that ultimate. But Old School definitely does. After that Quadra kill, he's about 3k up onto Petroni. That's 2 items. Solari Charge Blade boosting those critical strikes even further. This Lucian is not going to be fun to deal with in TSM.
Gold lead is like 1,000 gold per minute for Tribe. They're 8,000 gold ahead at 8 minutes. And Old School, the lion's share of that lead, 2 items done. This Lucian is absolutely terrifying.
We've got the Corki package available. It was used very, very early on, I will say, though, because the Rift Herald and the Drake aren't available.
Flash there for Chuck, but they just follow him forever. Is Carlito able to find it? And that flash is going to be enough to get him out of there, actually. Chuck, durable enough to live in the 1v3 dive.
Yeah, full commit from TSM also, so they're going to miss out on this inner turret in the Baron lane here. Tribe securing this for themselves, completely fine with that objective trade for the one in the Dragon lane. Swinging on out. They're fully set up to go for this Rift Herald too. Not even going to go for this recall, realizing that they can go for this, getting that Scuttle Crab Vision onto Titus. See if they can avoid the initiation.
Good kick. It's the jungler they're trying to take out here, but T-Tigers just tanks it. T-Tigers now going to move back through. Does get the ulti up, but that should be enough damage. Stunny diving through the Ignite's not enough, and Braum ulti look to try and run some interference as T-Tigers not dead, but cannot really go for this Herald now.
Definitely can't go for this team fight. This could be an opportunity for TSM to steal away this objective while the smite isn't available. But can they take this before a fight ensues? You can't expect for TSM that they'll be able to win this fight. They have to get out of here now. They didn't do it fast enough.
Old School too threatening. Now maybe Max Green a little too far forward. Rift Herald low. They do get it on the Tribe side because Renekton is able to take it down. Starting gets a kill, but that's a couple on the other side there. As Tribe kind of throw themselves at the enemy. A double kill for Titus at the end of it all. Very messy, but at least they got the objective on the Tribe side.
All right, Starting is on the hunt. He sees some
The
scoundrels that he can kill and get the revives. I don't think he's gonna actually go for it, no.
He's not.
Heroic swing on out. TSM, they lose out on the Rift Herald. Again, as you said, Chuck able to secure this one by some miracle. But the rest of Tribe fully committing after the fact, after they're already in a pretty rough spot. And most of that is because of Carlito's re-engage. Look at that. Beautiful.
Very nice there. And Tribe is like trying to get out and everyone's just getting shot. It's a bad scene here in the topside river. Petroni does escape as well without going down. A little bit of hope you can see. The Brazilian side warming up as Tribe still very far ahead, but that gold lead is starting to get cut down a little. Second Drake is going to look good for them though, and they do secure it.
Tribe able to make a full exit path out of this. Go back to pushing out these minion waves and waiting for this next objective. They feel really strong, and you can see that they feel maybe stronger than they actually are after going for that last play, but that doesn't mean that they're completely out of the lead quite yet. They haven't thrown it all away yet. I don't want to leave out the possibility TSM did have a pretty solid last team fight. And this could be a solid pick on the Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck, not very durable, has 2 damage items here, and that is going to be a very easy kill. Donated over to Pantheon. Sunny going to collect it.
I like that Chuck doesn't use any of his resources there. Keeps the Dominus and both Summoner spells, knowing that even if he does use them, there's a very high chance that he does end up getting killed. Quirky Package popped again. TSM aren't really using that to go for any of the neutral objectives. Instead, they're trying to get picks with it. The last one didn't quite work out, but just the threat of that happening means that Tribe have to back away from that turret.
Yeah, again, Maxian really the only one that's tanky at all on the Tribe side right now. It's 2 damage items, of course, for starting. Old School's working on the 3rd. That's 2 damage items. So Chuck, as I mentioned, it's T-Tigers going for basically a damage build, although Sterex now is going to give a little bit of extra durability. So you can see why Tribe get themselves killed in spots where they think they can make something happen, because they're not as tanky or as strong as they think they are.
Yeah. We didn't mention it before, but Maxrian going for an exhaust heal build on this ROM is pretty cool. No flash necessary for this champion as long as he's there in the front line. Not really any place that he needs to flash. Yep. He's got his wall up and he's exhausting and healing, then that's exactly what his job is. So very creative stuff from Maxrian, not something that you see every day. Going for this tanky build, I believe that's a Zeke's Convergence that he's building toward. So more utility provided for his team. Usually you don't see a Braum get to this stage of his build, but Tribe very accelerated.
Ooh, hello. Chuck going to be the target. Titus with a very nice kick after the dash. And Chuck is going to be killed once again, and Tribe are not there in time to save it. Now looking for the re-engage. It's Old School, 3 items done. Looking to maybe make it happen. 3v5 though now for Tribe, as Max Green is going to maybe rethink the situation. Starting back through. Raw multi there is good. Old School gets 1. That's the kill they need to kick things off now. 4v4, but T-Tiger's a little bit low to go back through. Looking like the pentakill on my screen. There's the triple. As on the backside, it is going to be Titus chased away. Does get the kill onto the Vive, and Starting's going to finish it off, and it is the ace there for Tribe.
Triple kill for Old School, another multi-kill for the dual laner of Tribe, and it's on a 4v5 engage. You can see the rest of the team is not very tanky for Tribe, but Max Green is tanky enough for the entire squad. Eats all of that brunt of the damage from TSM, most of which was already used onto Chuck previously, and with the double marksman after the fact, they make it look so easy. And I believe they did pick up the Baron while we were watching this replay as well. Yep, off of the map, and they are coming right out of the base.
Yep, that was the prize they got for winning that team fight, and it's a pretty nice one here for Tribe, who are looking to put the finishing touches on this game. Have another Drake to play for in a moment, but Infernal not up yet. Is a good Drake to get though, as Tribe are going to be lining up for that objective before finishing the game, I imagine. It's Chuck in the side lane, maybe getting the minions going in the Baron direction, but the engage is maybe there. Old School is now caught between a very awkward place, but it's saved by Max Green, who bounces back to his carry, and now Old School's going to let it rip alongside Starting. It's 1 kill already. There's the second again, as Starting is going to grab the other. Both marksmen ripping through the rest of TSM. It's Petroni in trouble. It's Rakan dead. It looks like another ace here for Tribe, as they may just end the game.
They are looking on fire all of a sudden in this late game here, Base Your Time, if you can even call it late game. We're not even at 15 minutes in, and they are already exploding the Nexus, taking us to a game 2 at match point. NA Hope is alive.
That was very nice for Tribe here in their first showing. Again, it is a lot of questions for a team that was so dominant domestically. What are they going to look like? What's the style they're going to play? Are they going to maybe stick to the, we'll show up for Dragon and play kind of slow? Because we know we've got the skill and the teamwork to kind of work our opponents. And certainly not in this game. It was go from minute 1 quite literally. And they got to kill a minute for like 8 minutes or something. Yeah. It was absurd.
That was a lot of kills. And it's a lot of kills that T-Tigers didn't necessarily need to be a part of, which is, I think, a really, really big thing for this team. Because Tribe, in the past, has looked like a team that does typically need their jungler to be there to set things up. T-Tiger's a very flashy player on these champions that he likes to go for. Maybe not necessarily the Vi, but other ones that we've seen him pick. Not needed in a lot of the lane priority that we saw. The solo kill in that 2v2 bot lane for Tribe really paying dividends. And Old School ended up with a quadra kill, a triple kill, all of these kills on this guy, making it look oh so easy for him.
We haven't seen very many lane kills so far today.
Yeah, that was one of the only ones.
Any 2v2 kill until now. Very, like, I don't know what happened. I didn't see the whole lane, but it was good. Old School and Max Green, making it look pretty nice there with the Braum and the Lucian. And then, you know, it's funny, like we talked starting up, I think he's a player that is very exciting to watch from North America, and he just was chilling, rolling around on
swinging around.
Yeah.
Doing his Spider-Man thing, just flying around. It looked very fun, honestly.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of that damage, but he didn't need to be the carry on the team. It was all about Old School in that one. I think that's a really important thing for Tribe to have in this tournament.
He like emoted a lot, I noticed. That was his like role. He was the cheerleader. Also, if you don't know starting, he's like very brash. So it makes sense that he's emoting at every possible opportunity.
Yeah, he's posted some very very brazen things on Twitter, but you gotta respect it at a certain point. I remember one time he just tweeted their entire scrim record. It was like 90+% win rate, and he was like, "Immortals, good luck in the finals," and then it worked out for them. So
yeah, turns out they won, and that's why they're here. As we are going to wrap up game number 1, but now let's hear from our friends on the ground in Singapore for more on that decisive game. At the end of that game, which means it seems like a good omen for North America, who are starting off with a bang here in game number 1. Series number 1, up 1-0 now, up against TSM, who are looking to bring us to a third game for the second time today.
And switching over to that blue side is Tribe, trying to be Mr. Worldwide here, going from coast to coast. Seemed like that last game was pretty explosive, but all things under control for Tribe. They had a few moments where they dove in a little bit over their bounds, but it wasn't something they couldn't come back and mop up for themselves in the following play. So you can appreciate that for Tribe. They're willing to make the crazy play, knowing that they are still confident. And that game was a very, very fast one. We were not kidding when we said that these guys win fast.
I think for me, the question is, like, if they don't get a lead like that again, what does the game look like, right? Because they can afford to get a bit reckless sometimes in the mid-game. But obviously, when the game is even, you don't want to do as much of that. So we'll see what happens here. TF, Camille, Corky Band on the TSM side. Fizz actually joining the pile alongside Nunu and Fiora, which means Ziggs is our first pick here.
The Fizz one definitely jumps out to me, similar to the brand band that we saw earlier today. Haven't actually seen these champions in action on our side, but something fishy is going on in this scrim, specifically with this pick. Senna locked in for TSM, and have a lot of creativity that you can go for with that one. Galio still available. That's been the go-to on the day, first day of Horizon Cup. Might not work as well into something like a Ziggs that could just bully you out of the lane, but hey, it does provide you with a lot of frontline later.
As Renekton, looks like nice easy one there for TSM. Plugs in nicely into the top lane. Pretty stable, pretty safe, very consistent. The thing that excites me about this Ziggs pick, again, Tribe did talk about coming into this event wanting to show their diversity. Tigers will buck that trend and continue to pick Vi, but hey, he did pretty well on that Vi, and Old School did very well on that Lucian, so they are going to take those 2 picks again.
Does look like the Ziggs is going mid then for starting. So not masking where that flex is going to be any longer. However, something ridiculous with like a Lucian in the Baron lane. But that's not something that I think we can really expect from Chuck based on what we know from him in the Summoner series, where we're sort of knowing where this Lucian is going. Again, also by how well Old School played in Game 1. Very exciting to see him back on this one. TSM showing us yet another unique pick on the day. Pastry, this is the first Wukong of the day. And Nasus.
My goodness.
So Senna Nasus is a very real lane. Yeah. So what you do on the Nasus, for those of you listening at home as well who may not know, you go for the AP build, you max your Spirit Flare, you go for a double Font of Life in your lane, you just go for a lot of sustain. It works pretty well, you get some nice scaling later on.
I hope we see that. That sounds really fun. But again, more unique picks. TSM bringing us 2 on the day.
Yep.
Back to back there for the Wukong and the Nasus. It's Braum Darius, though, to round it out there for Tribe. So keeping it pretty simple here. Max Green going back to the Braum, which looked very good, I might add. Didn't get a whole lot of chance to sing his praises because the rest of his team were getting all the kills. But the support, as always, putting in the work while everyone steals the kills. Max Green, I'm very curious if he goes for no flash again. That's definitely a cool little thing that might become more commonplace if Braum is going to continue to be a pretty high priority pick in this tournament.
I genuinely did like that a lot. It's not just because it is creativity, although I am a pretty big fan of seeing new things. It did just make a lot of sense, and it was really effective for Max Green in that game. Even going so far as getting that 2v2 kill in the lane with it on this same duo. Like, up against a very defensive lane this time, I believe the Senna and the Nasus are going to be much more difficult to break apart in just that 2v2, but hey, that's what T-Tigers is there for.
Yeah, last pick is Orianna, therefore Mike, so going to be kind of a classic. Ziggs versus Orianna, lots of Qs thrown at each other in that lane. But I'm curious to see, it's kind of cool, right? Because again, we talked about starting, obviously coming into this series. Definitely talked a lot about Old School coming out of Game 1. And I think when I saw this, it was like, oh, which player of the 2 that we're watching is going to take it? And then we found out very quickly at starting. Obviously a very aggressive player. We already seen what Old School's Lucian can do, especially with the leads. So, you know, how is starting on something a little bit different, like the Ziggs, can he continue to be as aggressive? Can he be as effective when he's not able to, you know, swing on in and shoot people? Probably
not as aggressive as the Akshan. I think this champion is... You're right.
Satcheling on in.
You certainly have that option as Ziggs, but I think that's something that probably won't happen as often as the Akshan was going. We'll say that one. More of a late game carry for this team. Old School as well has a lot of crit options on this Lucian here, and notably TSM doesn't really have a lot of crit champions in their own team. The Senna we're expecting to go for the utility builds, something like the armor penetration of the Black Cleaver or the slows of the Seralda's Grudge. Either way, you're not building crit on that champion.
Yeah, not the one farming in that lane, if I had to guess. Although I guess
no, you're not. Yeah,
right.
It is going to be
so
the Nasus.
Not going to be able to, you know, get 5 items and shoot people as a marksman. As I mean, maybe if we go really late, you never know. Tribe though lining it up here. It's ooh, very sneaky. Oh, this is nuts. If Mike gets picked up, okay, he didn't. Instead, they sweep and we're invading.
Wow. Yeah. So they're actually forcing Tidus down to the blue side of his jungle. A really big detriment, actually, to a champion like Wukong, who doesn't necessarily have the strongest of clears. Okay, he's not going for that one at all. He's actually going for the trade of red buffs. That's much better for him if he can pull this off. And for Tribe, they're fully committing to this. They're going for that full lane swap that we saw in just last series.
Yeah, this is the classic lane swap, basically. So definitely the right choice there for Tidus to go to the cross map and go take the enemy red. They're not going to lose out at the end of the day. Should be able to fall back to that blue. You can see all this presence here for TSM is going to secure that objective. And now a dive there. This has always been the thing. And now Sunny going to get himself dope. Max Green lining it up, and that is so good. It's T-Tigers at that first blood.
In the first minute of the game, too, I absolutely adore the turret juggling that we just saw from Max Green, who, by the way, is not running Flash, but he's not running the Exhaust either. He's gone for the Ignite this time around, a summoner spell that works all too well in a 2v1 situation, or let alone a 3v1, as it provides way too much damage for Sunny to deal with. And again, the turret juggling, phenomenal stuff from Tribe.
That's just so well played there for Tribe. Setting it up, clearly a plan they had coming into this game and executed to a T. And dodging the potential snooze fest.
Yeah.
It would have been Senanasis.
We heard from Alk Battery on the desk that he wanted Tribe to have an identity in this series. It feels like their identity is just killing you as soon as the game starts. Again, kills happening in the first minute of the game. This one does come from T-Tiger, so it's not just in the isolated lane matchup. But again, as you said, this is something that they were clearly planning for. They executed super well, and now they have this huge advantage.
Starting just chucking the satchel at Mike. A little bit of poke there with the Airy. Definitely going to be more about what they do when they leave their lane. Obviously, Ziggs can throw his ulti pretty far. So it can help out nicely. T-Tiger's already with the ulti. Sunny! No getting out of this one. That's the second blood out of Eye.
Just securing the kill with Assault and Battery there too. Sunny didn't have Flash, but he did potentially have that Slice and Dice. So just making sure the Gator does not get away. Tribe picks up a second one. Both of them for T-Tiger is, again, also going for the Trinity Force build. Not wanting to sit back and deal no damage. Being the tank. No, no, no. 2 games in a row, T-Tigers gets by. 2 games in a row, he is killing everybody.
He's also getting early kills, which helps enable this kind of build. So I'm starting to think it's on purpose. I wonder if he's the one, kind of the architect of all these strategies, specifically so he doesn't have to build tank. He's like, I really want to build Trinity Force. How do I incept my team into letting me do this? And it turns out getting kills at level 1 is the reason.
It's convincing me. He's definitely got me on his backing. I'm in his Shark Tank right there. Clear out his camps here. We're waiting about 30 seconds for that neutral objective train to take off from the station, and we're back to the regular lane state. Tribe only needed that first kill for their duo lane to feel satisfied to go right back to the Senanasis lane. And while they've attacked Sunny multiple times, doesn't necessarily mean the Tribe has to go for the top side, although with Max Green's movements right now, you can see that's probably where they're going to land.
Yeah, Chuck just barely missing the Wukong there with the Scryer's Blue. And so that speed train does go over to TSM. Looks like they are going to be eyeing up the Herald first. Starting, does get himself locked up there. Shockwave's nice. Starting actually going to flash. Holds on to the barrier, but does want to get away from the situation.
You got to be careful with that Orianna Shockwave. Sometimes when you're right in the middle, you don't know which way you're actually going to be flown. So anticipating potentially being flown into the enemy team directly did preemptively flash. This Tribe do set up for a neutral objective, but it won't be Rift Herald at all. It will be the scaling option of the Ocean Dragon, giving up the Rift Herald to Tidus and just taking this turret instead, although they will be late to the first turret party.
Yeah, going to be a trade here, but looking good here. For both sides, actually, TSM should be happy with the situation. Tribe, though, going to get themselves a gold lead here. Up 1,000 before the turret falls, now up about 1,500 as that one goes down. And I think just playing to their strong side of the map, making sure Old School continues to get gold and get himself ahead, lines up for me.
Definitely for me as well. We just saw how much damage and how many kills Old School was able to get in game 1. You have to imagine the team is wanting to slate him forward to get as many of those and replicate that success if possible. So you can see he's going to be farming up. Looks like he's by himself up there in that Baron lane. He's got backup available, but not quite in experience range. So just getting all these resources.
2v3, nice little start there for Wukong. Old School locked up forever. Easy pick up there for the center. And Max Green up too late. T-Tiger's no help at all. And there's the second spin. Tidus getting maximum value. Wonderful skill shot there from Petroni. And Max Green, just no flash, can't W to an ally. He's just dead.
Turns out Tribe letting Old School get solo experience might have been too far out of his comfort zone. Max Green and T-Tigers were in the wings, but not quite in his clutches, and it does leave Old School up to the Wolves, getting killed super, super easily. And I really love that vision play that we saw from Sunny, waiting in that rush, lying in wait, even activating the Dominus early, knowing we got him.
Watch this one again. I mean, T-Tiger's right here. You have to think Old School feeling safe, but the answer was no on this one.
Yeah, really nicely done. And then the flash forward with the Cyclone too. I really just love this play from TSM overall. And then they can even dash over this wall, get another Cyclone off, and with the Wither and the added slows and snares from Petroni, everything falling into place for TSM. You can see what this composition is built to do. It is built to play that front-to-back team fight and just provide a lot of utility for the carry that is, by all accounts, Sunny in this game.
Good here for Kids Prospects as the Rift Herald did take out the bottom tower and get a good amount of damage onto the tier 2 as well. You can see this time they bring more than one person. Upside, oh goodness, T-Tigers finds the angle. That's looking good. There's the center ulti to try and protect it. It does save the teammate for now, but Old School's gonna get the first kill. T-Tigers flashes in, gives his life away for the double. But the damage on the return is very effective out of TSM. That's gonna be a 2-for-1 trade. Tribe though, needs to be a little bit careful. Old School, perhaps vulnerable, but does get away.
Mikey Shockwave was insane. All 5 members caught up in that one. Impressive stuff from the mid laner of TSM, even in a play that ended up in that deficit. Try picking up 2 there. Nothing else really to talk about on the back end of that team fight. Nothing going on in the objective standpoint or the structures, but the players do click their buttons quite nicely.
Certainly do. Here's watch again, and the Act replay looks so close. But that Orion ulti, excuse me, Sen ulti was nice, but Orion ulti much better there, even though Old School does somehow get a double kill.
Yeah. I mean, of course he does. He's Old School at playing Lucian. He's going to get those multi-kills. He's got his signature 2 items now, too, as Chuck looking for an Apprehend doesn't quite land it.
Big ol' whiff on that one, and TSM looking for the punish. He just a little too vulnerable, but there's T-Tigers going in, wants the softer target. It's Khalida that's there. Another great Shockwave finds 3 or 4. But Mike doesn't get the kill. Chuck's gonna yeet on out of there. And TSM just can't catch a break, it feels like.
Old School was completely shutting out Sunny from that team fight as the marksman Lucian. He's up a level on the Renekton. And I was saying before how Sunny was likely going to be the carry for this team. If you can't 1v1 the Lucian, then that's not going to come easy for you. The rest of your team needs you to deal a lot of damage in these team fights, especially after that Shockwave lands, as Mikey has shown to be very, very good at. But this far behind, it's not going to work.
Ooh, got the Herald, but what's it going to cost? That's at least 1 kill. T-Tigers in trouble. The rest of the tribe, they're going in. Beautiful 3-man brawl multi, though. This is going to connect, but TSM will reinforce, starting. Now trying to make something happen, but Max Green's going to be left out to dry. It's Chuck that's moving around. That's a great 6 ult. Can they get a kill? Indeed, Old School will get out with one as Chuck is just walking away, starting with the satchel, saves himself. And that's so nice from Tribe for the 1-for-1.
Oh, yeah. They get out completely fine with this one, as they do lock in that Rift Herald. They're going to be alive and ready to fight for this next Infernal Dragon as well. They didn't actually use too many ultimates in that one. They did use the Glacial Fissure, but their pick tool is still available in the Assault and Battery. Chuck can still go for his rampaging resets on the dunk, and they've got all this power. They're completely uncontested on this dragon. TSM can't do anything about it. They're still crawling out of their base after the aftermath of that last fight.
Yeah, it feels like the important one there is Tribe always got the objectives on the mind, especially that dragon. They do love that one. And you know, they connect the play after the top side play, they get the 1-for-1, T-Tigers respawns, and they run back to the dragon to keep that one secure. Starting to be hit by some shadows. TSM looking for the engage, but don't find it.
Yeah, Max Green just staying stalwart in his defenses, making sure that no stray skill shots or projectiles land onto his backline. You gotta respect this Braum play, man. He doesn't have the safety of something like that Flash again 2 games in a row. Very, very confident that even if he dies, it's his team that's gonna matter in those team fights. He gets his abilities off, and then it's okay. He's just a big health bar, and he can maybe ignite the enemy team as well. It's more important than flashing out.
And it seems like the funnel Old School plan is in full swing right now on the Tribe side. He has been like playing like Tristana. He is just in a side lane, chilling, collecting the delicious golden XP. And he is very far ahead individually as a result. And now they're going to hit the tower here. TSM will have to respond. Mid lane though, ooh, I love this little play. Can they survive though? 2v2 top side though is Old School trying to make it happen. Sunny is low, he does get the kill. Max Green now gonna be the extra added value, but no, they don't get it. In fact, Petroni is gonna go for a wonderful W once again, and Max Green does fall. Mid lane is the issue, but it's not an issue right now. It's 2-0 clean for TSM.
That is a 2v2 2 double kill on the side of TSM. Excellent flash forward to get that last bit of damage onto Old School from Sunny. And this is that carry versus carry moment that we were hoping to see from TSM. Yeah, Sunny might struggle in the 1 versus 1, but as long as he has the support of Petroni there, if he can bring that with him to every single one of these fights and have success, then that's all that really matters. If you're killing Old School as this carry on the team, then that is that win condition for TSM to get back into this game and get their carries online, which they really need to do very fast.
I love what Sunny did there too. Just like confident in Petroni's skill shot accuracy. T-Tigers getting in there again. Good damage onto Petroni though. Chuck gets found on the front line of Sunny. He's going to get dunked and that's enough for the kill. Titus dives in, but that's going to be a second. It's Tribe's team fight that's looking hot right now. It's Titus that will finally fall 2-0 this time as Chuck gets on in there with a Q. Double upper hand clinch. You'll figure out. But Center is unstoppable as Petroni snags the second.
Oh, Chuck. He did a ridiculous amount of work in that last fight. Can he get out of this one? All right, he's on the escape. Did you see all of the healing that Chuck got from his Decimate in that last team fight? That was absolutely absurd. He doesn't even have something like a Spirit Visage quite yet. That was just his positioning and repositioning with the flash as well, still trying to defend this turret.
Old School getting way too aggressive. It does dash out to safety. Unfortunately for them, the turret does fall, starting respawning in a second. As we'll watch this one again. Let's have a look at the old Daria, shall we?
Yeah, this champion has just looked so insane today. And Chuck proving that he can play with the big dogs as well. Doesn't quite get the reset, but he's super, super close. If he had been just a bit of damage more, then it could have been a completely different fight and Tribe could have wiped it. But even still, he just heals like his entire health bar in that team fight with just Decimate alone. Super impressive positioning.
Well, Tribe's team fighting looking pretty good, but TSM definitely battling back. This is a much closer game than what we saw in the last time around. We're almost 14 minutes through, and it's 2,000 between the two sides. It's Tribe still with the lead, but TSM not far away. As Tribe are going to have to try and get themselves in the area for this dragon. It is going to be the mountain. Max Green getting starting, rooted up, and Sunny, he's going to look for the play, but now the turnaround there, T-Tigers is good for the center shields. Oh, looking nice, it's Titus that dives in, but he can't find the spin really, but that is enough to force back Tribe.
Old School very low, he can't really re-engage this team fight, but most of the members of TSM are also pretty worse for wear. They got sustained from Senna, but they have to deal with the poke from starting. Now starting up onto this dragon, there's teleports in. I believe that is Old School from the base. You gotta run, TSM.
Now they go in for the Mountain Drake. Max Green isn't here, but a show of force for Tribe is just going to give them the dragon, and Petroni's getting chunked. Tribe just waltz on in there and take it.
Miss out on a couple of minions in the midway, but as long as they get the third dragon, they're completely okay with that. They even have some priority in this dragon lane if they so choose to take out this turret. Old School doesn't know that he's completely safe to do it. He will recall on out of there, taking the safe route. You got to respect that one from Tribe. They don't want to throw away their lead. They're on the brink of winning their first series in Horizon Cup.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the Dragons always being important. It's 3 straight for Tribe, which has to feel good for them, but the next one is a real banger, Smacks. Infernal, pretty good on its own. Elder Infernal, really good. Elder Infernal with this many elemental picks already finished, real good.
That's a lot of relays. Is this the first Elder Dragon that we would see if it does spawn? I feel like it is for today. I don't recall ever seeing another one on the day, but regardless, that doesn't take away from how important this objective is for both of these teams to try to take away. For Tribe, of course, like you said, they have so many stacked up Drakes that buff would just completely be game winning. And that's incentive enough for TSM to want to take that one away. Waiting for that to spawn might be the priority for these two teams. It's Chuck.
I love this play. Center Shroud into the shadows, and Chuck is the one caught out. Decimate 1 doesn't connect. Stone play popped, and off he walks.
Wow, he's just so tanky, so durable. Can't be taken out as long as there's no big crowd control on top of him. But the Baron doesn't move away. TSM have this one on lock and key. Can the rest of Tribe arrive here? The jungler's not close.
Yeah, might have spotted T-Tigers there, and there's the pick they're looking for. It's Chuck again, but this time no stone plate, and the flash isn't enough to save him.
That is a lot of extra damage onto the big tanky member. Flash forward from Trony.
Really stasis that. A mind don't matter. It's Max Green that's going to the target. T-Tiger's going in. Glacial Fidget's not bad. The center shield, though, is so nice. As Titus tries to dive in, but Old School gets crazy aggressive. Is forced to flash over the wall, and now Mike's going to chase him down. Does grab the kill there as TSM's team fight looking real nice right now.
Mikey is saving these team fights on Orianna. Another crucial shockwave and a shutdown onto Old School means that TSM walk away with a 1 team fight. They are now in the kill lead for the first time in this series. Massive stuff for the Brazilian squad as they try to claw their way back into the series. We get to watch this replay. Look at all of the damage that comes through off of Mikey alone.
Yeah, and again, Max Green, pretty tanky. T-Tigers tries to finally re-engage, and there's just nothing.
Boom. That is so insane on the shockwaves. I don't know how he manages to do this back to back to back. Flashes forward to kill Old School, making sure that that nuisance is taken care of. No more dashes around with the relentless pursuit. As we get a look into the coach's booth for both teams. You can see they're both pretty stressed out at this point. This game is really close.
Yeah, a little face palm in motion there on the Tribe camp.
No.
As maybe repeating the get the gif out, I guess. T-Tiger's going to lose the GA. Max Green trying to find it. Glitch Fidget's not bad. Good ulti there for the Ziggs. T-Tiger's looking for the dunk, but he can't quite find it. And Old School is just flashing back with the calling. Starting actually did get a kill, but Old School's in trouble. He's going to get killed now. A 4v3 for TSM.
All right, starting still alive. He still has all of this extra damage at his disposal with the bomb, so you can't do a whole lot else if you are on the side of TSM, but you're completely fine with this. You already got those 2 picks, one of them onto Old School. You are consistently killing off this Lucian that gave you so many problems in that last game of the series. We're waiting for this objective to spawn. T-Tiger's Old School won't be here. That's no smite for Tribe. Titus, can he stay alive? Can he dodge all of these Ziggs bombs and secure this one for his team?
Yeah, Tribe's going to have to run interference. You have to distract him. You need to buy time. Zelda Dragon's pretty tanky. Starting is getting some decent poke with Sunny. He's just going to shut it out. Straight in onto starting he goes. Max Green on the other side there with Chuck is trying to make magic happen, but there is no magic here, and it's just TSM. Still on the Zelda Dragon. TP in for T-Tigers. A miracle steal on the cards, perhaps. Old School again going back around. They're going for it. They're going to go for the T-fight instead. The other Dragon is low. It's so low. Who's going to be able to get it? The spine is there. It is Wukong that gets it. TSM are going to get that Elder. Old School's going to get shredded to bits. It is only starting left alive. And for how much longer is TSM win the fight they needed to win in this game?
TSM deny the gigantic objective that is Elder Infernal, and they may kill starting underneath his own turret. This might be the game.
That looks like game on my screen, Smacks. Another 3rd game perhaps here as TSM are going to waltz down through the bottom half of the map. It looked like a 2-0 for Tribe after game number 1, but TSM say, oh no, not so quickly. We are getting another game 3.
All right, TSM, specifically Mikey, man. This Orianna was crazy on those shockwaves. Every single team fight, every single time, all of this damage. I was expecting that Sunny would have to be the carry, have to deal all this damage on Renekton. I was completely wrong. He did deal damage, but it was Mikey's Orianna that really put in the work. That was so clean. I haven't seen an Orianna like that in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, very nice 5v5, which I thought is where Tribe would feel strength, especially given their propensity as a team with the comp they got. Like, Senna's pretty good in 5v5s, but like, I don't know what Nasus does. Like, in that kind of, like, AP Nasus in that situation.
Yeah.
Turns out it was enough, though, between all of the, like, defensive tools they had, the way they set up for their fights, and just Mikey consistently finding good shockwaves. Even being down 3 dragons, all they needed to win was that one fight, and hey, they won it.
Yeah, it feels like Tribe got picked off a bit too much in that mid game. Like you were saying after that last game where they were at a huge lead, and at times it felt like they were going past their limit and sort of limit testing in a way where they would dive in and get picked off, and they were like, well, it's all right. We have a pretty big lead. We're going to be okay as long as we don't let that happen again. This game was a lot closer. So when that did happen to them, it was much more punishing. And TSM pounced on that opportunity, scooping that one up and taking us to that double match point game 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's It's funny because you look at maybe the early game, the first 5 minutes or so of the game, you're like, oh, this is going great.
Yeah.
The level 1's playing. We killed Sunny twice in top lane. Old School's back off to the races. We're constantly putting him top side to just soak up farm and gold. And somehow we get to a 5v5 with like Lucian with 1 billion items, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. I really, really love the way that TSM continuously picked off Old School's Lucian as well. It wasn't even that he was necessarily out of position. It's just that they knew the target that they wanted to go for. They attacked him over and over and over, and it made those team fights all the more difficult for TSM. It definitely helps, or all the more difficult for Tribe. It helps that TSM got a taste of what Old School's Lucian could be in game 1, so they knew exactly where to attack. But all the same, it was a great job.
Yeah, swiftly shut it down. TSM are going to bring us to our second third game of the day. Numbers are hard. Don't worry about it. For now, though, we are going to pop on over to the State Farm analyst desk.
Road stop in front of them first. 1-1 is the scoreline. Both of these teams trying to get that last win, which could propel them all the way to the playoff stage of this tournament. Again, it is top 3 in each group of 5 teams that makes it to that playoffs, and every single win counts.
Alrighty then, so it's Tribe on the blue side again, if my brain is working. They were there on game 2. I believe not, though, for game number 1. Fiora, though, banned away. Camille also banned. These are becoming the mainstay bans of the tournament. In fact, I'm pretty sure we haven't seen either of these champions on the Rift. They've been likely banned in every single game. There's Senna. I do like that one. Petroni looked absolutely nutso on that particular pick. So nice to see it being taken away. And Senna, I think in general, a pretty powerful champion so far.
You gotta remove that one. From the duo lane, we heard from the analyst desk. I was gonna say the Alk Battery desk, but the Alk Battery and the rest of the desk were talking about the power of this Senna. Specifically, Riku was highlighting how strong the late game team fight positioning and DPS was for Petroni on that pick. So wanting to remove that one makes a lot of sense for Tribe. Similarly, for TSM, wanting to remove the Braum from Max Green, I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I actually kind of like all of what's happening here, starting to lose Twisted Fate, unsurprisingly. New band, and that means Renekton is on the table. I believe this is the first time Chuck is going to get this champion. Sunny has had it in the last 2 games, if my memory is serving me correctly.
I think Chuck had it in game 1, but regardless, it was in all of the other games, and it will remain so. Very powerful champion. In those team fights, you get to be a sustain beast, a health bar that just keeps on growing, and the point-click stun helps out tremendously. Now, Jarvan likely will be the response in the Baron lane, matching tank with tank. Lots of bruiser damage, bruiser-like damage, I should say, as Jarvan is, by all accounts, still a tank in that Baron lane, but can hold his own.
And Ziggs, of course, this time, but for Mike, definitely a champion TSM and Mike are very happy with. But starting, we'll be getting a different champion, which maybe for NA peeps on the desk is good news. I think I agree with him in the sense of like starting perfectly good on Ziggs, but doesn't feel like it necessarily fits the style the team plays. T-Tiger's though going to keep it nice and consistent back on the Vi. And Max Green, who was pushed off Braum, is on to Rakan, as Galio is the other selection there for TSM.
Both Old School and Starting saving their picks for later. Old School just having 2 stellar games on the Lucian. The second one slightly less so, to be completely honest, as he was picked out many times in that game. But still did a lot of damage in that one. Could still go back to the champion. It is still fully available for him to do so, but perhaps scarred by the atrocities that were placed upon him by this Wukong from Tidus.
Yeah, I like the Wukong again for that reason, where it's like, do it again.
Yeah.
You won't pick Lucian. I'll spin on you. And just very disruptive, right? I think definitely helped TSM out in the 5v5. So they've got plenty of incredible combo potential, actually. I mean, Galio Jarvan is good enough, and they've got 2 more good ultis to layer on top of that. Instead, it is going to be Corki here for Old School, and Orianna actually in the hands of Starting this time around.
Yeah, so very teamfight focused here for Tribe. Not necessarily as strong in the early game, though, because you don't have the same power of the Lucian dashing around with the Relentless Pursuit and getting all those double shots off. But perhaps for Tribe, they don't necessarily prioritize that champion as much outside of the pair with the Braum, which is banned away. Does leave TSM with the possibility of locking in that champion for themselves, though, and they pounce at that, taking that one into the Corki of Old School. All that early power completely shifts over to the side of TSM.
That's funny. It's like, wait to see what they want. Oh, we'll just steal the Lucian. That's pretty good. But Patroni getting off the center onto Lucian instead. Very interested to see how these teams match up on the roof, especially if we get a similar game trajectory to the last one, where it's quite close to the mid game, and then it does become a lot about those later game objective 5v5 fights, because the damage feels like it's there, the different tools feel like it's there for Tribe, but it just looks so easy on the TSM side. You just press all your ultis and let go of the phone.
It definitely feels that way, especially if you can get everyone locked into the Cataclysm. Luckily for Tribe, most everybody has means of escaping those walls outside of starting on the Orianna, but it definitely is going to be pretty easy and pretty straightforward, I think, for TSM to see what they want to do, especially if they're winning. If they're losing,
yes,
then this team starts to become more of a pick composition, and at that point, it's really tricky, actually, to find a big sweeping engage.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be curious, because Tribe obviously would love to replicate the success they had in game number 1. I kind of feel like they just skill check TSM, and TSM weren't quite ready in that game, more than Tribe are massively outskilling the TSM, because game 2 was, I think, much more what we maybe would have expected the first game to look like. That being said, even with these picks not having as much potential early power, if Tribe do find a way to get ahead early, I feel like they'll just stay ahead and coast all the way to the end.
T-Tigers has had incredible dives in the first few levels in both of these games. In game 1, he didn't need to do it before level 5 because his lanes were already dead by the time he got there. But in game 2, excellent dive at level 3 on a jungler that you usually expect to want to hit level 5, get the assault and battery, and then just press that button and make it super easy. Tribe want nothing to do with the easy way. They want to go as soon as possible, break your backs, and then get the speed up in a game like this, because then, like I was saying, TSM fall behind, and all of a sudden this composition that's very built around the 5v5 team fight is a lot harder to manage.
All right, we'll see what happens here. What kind of game are we going to get? Are we going to get the fast pace of game number 1? Are we going to get the more steady pace of game number 2? Are we going to get something completely different, Smacks? I guess we'll find out in a moment, but starting going to play the flipped matchup that he played in game number 2. This time he's on the Orianna side. And no shenanigans just yet. Everyone's at their lanes at the appropriate times. That's very unusual for this series.
It actually is, yeah. Tidus is not going to start up on his red buff, so that's at least something that's slightly unusual, not going for the red buff immediately. But yeah, as you said, all things quiet in the first minute of the game. Tribe not going for anything too explosive quite yet. And for T-Tigers, you do still have that opportunity to play up until that level 5. And then once that pops, you do have the very easy gank. It's just not something that Tribe necessarily box themselves into needing to do. And I'm excited to see if he actually does go for any plays now that he is level 3.
All right, well, bottom side is going just fine here. For Patroni on the Lucian. They are the more aggressive of the 2v2 duos, as you can see. I mean, the summoner spells more than anything kind of giving that away. That being said, if they find a good angle, that's a great taunt into Justice Punch, though. Out of Carlito, old school, going to have to get out of there, but not before losing a pretty chunk of health.
I really like that combo out of Carlito. Very creative to use the Justice Punch backwards. Just you do have that little wind up, so he makes sure that he gets that knock up onto old school and forcing the honey fruit very early. Now Tidus on this side of the map. Be going for a dive. We'll see they have 2 minions to work with to get this one started.
Oh, that's so nice. Double taunt there out of Carlito. 1 kill there for Max Green. Can they make the second? It's Tidus flashing away at the last second and not give it away. So nice for TSM as they grab their first blood of the series.
Super clean from Carlito. You can feel just how comfortable this guy is on the Galio support. That's 2 plays in a row where he's using his skills to perfection, this time on a dive with the jungler there. Also, Mike, who did show up just for moral support in the end, wasn't necessarily needed for damage, but in case he was, in case old school found himself worse for wear, would have been another kill picked up by TSM. But as it stands, this is still perfectly fine and perfectly great for TSM.
Yeah, real nice. Just lining it up. Didn't even need the ultis, so it's going to be even easier next time. With a bit more XP. Max Green and T-Tigers, though, oh, don't get got. They did. All right, that was close, but the steal does not come through from the Winds of War out of Carlito.
really like this build from currently. You get the Righteous Glory enchant where you just zoom, 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 and you can't run away from this Galio who is just running Mach 10, taunting you. And now that the flash is available for Max Green, which was true before, but this time it's because he used it, it's going to be super scary. Like, Old School super low also.
Yeah, the culling happened by the looks of things. Going in for it. T-Tiger's ready at level 6. Has the ulti, of course, from the previous level, but doesn't go in for it. Just trying to cover at this point. I mean, that is not a trade that Old School wanted to take. Already has to go back once again. Otherwise, things are okay on the rest of the map, but the bottom lane that was such a source of strength for Tribe in the early 2 games of this series. Not looking so hot now that Lucian's on the other side.
They're getting beat up by this Lucian. Petroni going for a different build from what Old School showed us in the first 2 games. It's a Blade of the Ring King, so a lot more sustain from this one, less burst. But if you stay alive in these team fights, then there is more potential for that damage overall. So I like that one a lot from him. Now moving into the mid lane, trying to get priority for these objectives. TSM seemingly has the pick of the litter as their ultimates quite strong in these team fights. They got the Cataclysm and the Cyclone available. They have to deal with Corki package from Old School, but once that is gone, they are super strong.
Well, T-Tigers once again vaulting on in, but does not find anyone to click on. Wants to be a little bit more conservative perhaps. Has potential combos with starting, of course. He's level 7 ready with the ulti and does have the first item already charging up there. Mike also has his own finish, so it's going to be battling Staves there in the mid lane for a little while. Gerald seems to be the center of attention though.
Seems still stacking up around this. Drake left to the wayside. The Scuttle Crab could be pretty big for Tribe. The extra movement speed around this objective, not too shabby to have. And if by some way the Tribe find themselves not in the pit anymore, then they'll see TSM the entire time. It's package.
Old School, yeah, probably running out there. That's Max Green with a very nice starting engage. With the Rockabell, gets in there and looks like they are going to grab a kill here. No, it's Jarvan that grabs the first one there. TSM turn it back around. It's Tidus that grabs the second, and Tribe, it looks so good, and TSM just take 2 lives away.
So patient for TSM, just waiting, knowing eventually Corki package will expire. Old School uses it in a place that's entirely inoffensive to them. Fully ready to go all the way in on this play. And you can see right there, Old School, he dashes in, but there's no possible chance that anybody in TSM is going to stand up.
And Petroni just battles him. Happy to take it there, forced him away, and then this is just easy. The rest of TSM collapse.
Most of the damage for Tribe is going to be in the auto attacks from Old School or potentially the burst from starting, none of which are really online quite yet. So without a pick off with the Assault and Battery, Tribe not having an easy time in these team fights. Maybe looking for another possibility around this Drake, but no Corki package means it's going to be even harder for them. You got to just go for the turn instead.
Yeah, just giving it up here. Happy to take the gold, I suppose. At least get something out of the deal. They're certainly not getting this objective. I think for the first time ever in this series, Tribe are going to lose the first 2 objective fights there.
Yeah. Pretty scary stuff for them. They have a lot of ways that they could have potentially played in this early game. Could have potentially used these powerful picks that we've seen throughout the entire series, specifically T-Tigers on this Vi, but Tidus got the first punch in. He got that first gank off in the Dragon Lane, and ever since then, TSM have really felt like they've been in the driver's seat the entire time. This Lucian pick in this series just seems so strong, P-Straight.
Yeah, I mean, looking good so far. Definitely a champion we'll keep our eyes out on as the days roll on here at Horizon Cup. But for now, it's TSM kind of coasting on a pretty healthy 1,500 early game lead here. Obviously, well within reach for Tribe, but this is going the way they want to. They have those towers. They got their first dragon. Got Kalito looking pretty accurate on the Galio taunt numbers.
He's zooming. He's got the register, and he's going for Dead Man's Blade after this. There's nobody who's going to be able to get away from him. All right, so we're trying to take away the risk.
Oh my goodness, Max Green with the amazing Rakan ulti there, but Carlito's going to swoop on in, and how did that not get anything done? It's 2 kills again. Tribe just lose 2.
And
Max Green did everything, and it did nothing.
It did something, but it did something for the other team. TSM picking up another set of kills. And if you look at the health bars across the board, it didn't really feel like Tribe was anywhere close to killing anybody. That's absolutely incredible. Tribe just don't have anything to use in these team fights quite yet. You have these really flashy engages here from Max Green, finding 3 members with his ultimate, but there's just no backup.
Oh, Shockwave didn't hit everyone? I don't know, they just didn't. I guess it was just Ori and that wasn't enough. Old School a little too late. Max Green with like the literal perfect Rakan angle.
Yeah.
And it just isn't enough, and now Chuck is trying to beat up Sunny, but oh goodness, the cavalry has arrived. The taunt is there from Carlito, and Petroni's the one to scoop up the kill.
Tribe did not catch a break right here at TSM, beating them at every move. And I especially, the thing that I realized about that last team fight as well, the reason why they didn't do any damage was actually because of Carlito's ultimate. He got the Grand Entrance on, or the Hero's Entrance on top of the Grand Entrance from Max Green, and the big magic damage shield completely mitigated everything that Starting went for with his burst. So really well timed from TSM. And just heads up play from the support here, who's had a phenomenal game of Galio. 100% kill participation, making so many of the plays in the early game. This is feeling like a champion that the teams are going to have to think about banning after this series.
Let's have a look at how this happened here in the X replay, because Chuck is getting frisky here, trying to 1v1 this Jarvan.
He knows exactly where Sunny is, but the problem is he doesn't know where anybody else is. He doesn't know just how close they are. With Carlito's movement speed build, it doesn't really matter how close he is because he will run. He will go the full distance to arrive. As you can see the elation on the TSM coaching side. They are feeling great about this game, feeling like this series is well within their reach.
Yeah, this is almost a shutout. Like 6-0,
Yeah.
4-2. The gold leads are stacking up more and more. Sunny's trying to escape one out of there. Again, the Galio ulti is just going to save the day. And there's just nothing they can really do. Sunny is low but not dead. Chuck is chasing but can't find anyone as Carlito just zones out 3 people. 3 people on the Tribe side as Titus grabs the double kill.
Carlito Galio is the name of this Game 3 pastry. He is making play after play after play. I cannot believe just how much work this support Galio is putting in. And mind you, this is not a Senna Galio lane. This is not one where you're farming up the entire time. You're playing on a budget. You are playing with just your abilities and whatever scraps you can get with your gold. He went for the full boot before even buying a single item component. That's how committed he was to being the support for his team. And again, look how much magic damage shielding he gets off. He gets to save his entire squad, and then as you pointed out, he's bodyguard 3 people, completely isolating them from the rest of his team as TSM picks up the scraps, keeping that 100% kill participation, and there's another objective.
Oh, that Infernal might be the nail in the coffin for Tribe, to be honest. Gonna be tough here to battle through that. That is a permanent 6% damage for the rest of this game, so that is an uphill battle. The Tribe, and it already has been. TSM looking so good right now, and you said it is this Galio pick that's tying the room together. We'll see what Tribe can maybe do to break it, because Starting's powering up, Old School's powering up. We know that they're the ones we're looking at here, but oh goodness, caught the enemy Raptor pit, and in the cookie jar, promptly cut off by TSM.
Can't power up on this Corki if you're getting killed off in the enemy Raptor pit. I'm not sure what Tribe was going for there, but it was clearly a vision play, and it clearly did not work out how they were hoping. Although, Tribe did get their first kill of the game. Sunny did die. So it's not the full shutout, but it is feeling more and more like it's very one-sided.
Get the mid tower, you know, starting to collect what gold you can. Oh boy. Petroni is threatening to 1v1 T-Tigers. T-Tigers gets on out of there, starting back down to the bottom side. Go ahead, catch this wave, clear that out. A little bit of breathing room now for a Tribe. A little bit of time between objectives, but gonna try and get as much gold as you can before the next bout, because it's coming quickly.
You know, now that Old School has these 2 items, I am not fully convinced that TSM have 100% won this game. There is a lot of scaling damage that comes from this Corki build, and on the flip side, not a lot that comes from Petroni's build on Lucian. He does not have any critical strike items. He is going for the full armor shred build. with the Blade of the Ring King Black Cleaver into a Last Whisper item. So no crit in his first 3 items. That late game damage not going to be there at all. And Old School can get this work.
Flash ulti, they're sending it. Chuck is setting it up, and who's going to knock it down?
Wow.
It is actually Chuck. Gets the kill at the end of it all, starting forced to flash away because Carlito is straight in there, zooming on in. The Shockwave finds 2, and Carlito still gets the kill he wanted.
You see just how fast this Galio build is and just how fast the turret's going about. That's a full inhibitor turret at 13 minutes, Pastry.
And Carlito still lives. He played with fire. He tanked every bullet in the Corky barrel. Oh, and a dive too far there for Max Green, gets himself killed. That's collateral Tribe didn't need to give TSM, as TSM are so close to finishing this series.
They walked away with that full mid lane completely devastated also, Pastry. This is not good news for Tribe. They have to deal with the permanent buff of the Cloud Drake, the Infernal Drake, and all these super minions that are pouring into this base from now until the end of this game. That's something they will have to overcome if they want to get this win. Their first series win in Horizon Cup. TSM still in that driver's seat, moving over to this Baron that's just recently spawned. See if they want to start this one up, or if they just want to zoom on a Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck had the rocket belt. It was like he's just trying to get in there, and wasn't enough to help escape. Starting getting low, the Zig's doing a massive amount of damage right now. Rabadon's almost done. There's a dunk. Maybe going to turn it back around, but the Galio's going to set that up, and that ulti almost killed Starting. But the kill happened before it can end as TSM run towards the Baron.
Yeah, it feels like they've got this one in the bag, Starting dead for 30 seconds. T-Tigers does have Smite, but there's really no way for him to actually get into this pit right now. I love the positioning from TSM as well, moving 2 of their members, 2 of their tanks over to this corridor so that the rest of TSM, alongside the clone of Wukong, that can tank up the Baron, to secure that objective for themselves. And it feels like it's only a matter of time now, Pastry. TSM on the brink of their first win.
Max Green is playing with fire, and it's going to be very dangerous. Jarvan finds 2 with the knock-up. They're almost blind through the Wolf Camp as Max Green lives, but T-Tigers is not so lucky. And it is a short celebration for the life of Max Green. He does live for a little bit longer, but TSM are busy with the base, Max.
Looking for more turrets. Shockwave does land by Starting, but he has to quickly get out of there for Sunny's all of his damage, all of his presence here. Now Chuck actually moving in.
There's so much poke. The Baron and minions are smacking the tower. Sunny's like, whatever, I'll die. You know what? It's not so bad. And this tower's just gonna get melted. Yeah, Ziggs has enough. Just chucks the bomb in.
Turrets are getting zigged, Pastry.
Yeah,
TSM
that happens.
Exploding all of them left, right, and center. Well, maybe not right quite yet, but left and center for sure. Those are completely gone. 2 waves of super minions pouring in, and TSM, they can just move right on over to this next dragon. Not quite the Elder yet, but they're getting there. And if they even need it, they will likely have all 3 of their regular dragons online. Now Carlito, he's so fast.
Oh, he just can't stop him. Justice Punch looks for the taunt, flashes in, barely misses it. But Titus now has found the rest of the fight. It's Old School that's going very deep with the package, but the Ziggs ulti's there. The knocker from Wukong hits onto the Corky. And now Old School's just going to be left for dead. Lucian's unstoppable. Sunny's locked up Chuck. He's going straight in. That was such a sick flash play after the flag and drag out of Sunny. And TSM are going to find the ace and take the victory lap around Tribe's Nexus.
5-0 ace leads TSM to international success in this first win for themselves. Look at that pop-off, Pastry. Look at these guys. They are ruthless. They know how good they are. Oh, look at him. Get him.
TSM chance do indeed transcend everything, especially all esports. And that's looking good. You know, maybe we can take this as an NA win, but no. This one's for Brazil. TSM is just in the name. The squad, loyal to their country, and looking good. I thought it was absolute boom after game number 1, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, oh goodness. It just felt like so many different unforced errors. The game completely ran away from him. Like, is this the team that's showing up? And the answer was no. That was the team that was asleep. And when the Lion woke up, it killed everyone, Max.
What better time to wake up than the last game of the day, Pastry? A reverse sweep, 2 reverse sweeps back to back.
Apparently, this is me now.
That's just the Pastry
sweep,
Smacks duo.
Great,
It's just reverse sweeps.
I can't wait for more reverse sweeps.
It's been a great
They're
time.
gonna yell at me on Twitter when there's not a reverse sweep now.
Yeah, I guess that probably will happen. I'm sorry to say.
That's okay.
But for TSM, they're definitely feeling good about this one. I love the poses.
I do love the tradition of taking a selfie after every game. I hope this continues.
Me too.
It makes sense, you know, your phone's right there.
Yeah.
You
Maybe,
get it ready to
should
go.
we take a selfie right now? Are you feeling victorious?
I'm feeling like it's been a long day, but a good day. Wild Rift.
That's a victory for me. Maybe we'll take a selfie later. But yeah, just reveling in the success of that TSM reverse sweep. The fastest game of that series was their loss. So a huge comeback for them to bounce back after that really crushing defeat where they were getting ran around the rift by Old School's Lucian and T-Tiger's Vi, leaving that Vi up, and really the Lucian, the entire series long, knowing that that wasn't the issue. It was the way that they attacked the early game and the way that they could bounce back after that. TSM keeping stalwart and taking a well-deserved victory.
Now, a little question, maybe one we can't answer right now, but after a day of play here at Horizon Cup, is that the best Galio game we've seen? Because there's been a lot of Galio in lots of different roles.
I'm locking it in right now. Yes.
And of all the things, it is the support Galio that gets it done as TSM do find the 2-for-1. And I'm sorry to throw it over to the NA fans on the State Farm Analyst Test. Kangas, take it away.